I like to think of myself as a fair dude. I like to think that I'll admit fault when I was wrong about something. Well, guess what? This may be one of those moments right now. It may be one of those moments. So there's a new poll that just came out, CBS YouGov poll. And boy, oh boy, is it something. So let's start here. I'm going to ease you into these numbers, okay? According to this new CBS YouGov poll, they asked likely Republican primary voters. So this is the red meat, red base, okay? If not Trump, do you want the nominee to be like Trump or not like Trump? So they say if we can't have Trump, 74% say they want somebody similar to Trump. Only 26% say different from Trump. Now, there's a couple different ways of reading this, right? One argument could be, no, they're just saying they want somebody policy-wise who is like Trump. Well, if that's what they're saying, well, then guess what? Mission accomplished. Because every other Republican is more or less like Trump. They all vote in a very similar way. But the other reading of this, which is perhaps a little more unnerving, is that they want somebody similar to Trump in all the intangible X factor ways, in all of the vibes-based ways. And I have to admit to you guys, I think that's what they mean. And maybe this is why you see virtually every Republican candidate, save like Chris Christie, is trying their best, even if they disagree with Trump, even if they go after him a little bit, ultimately they still end up cucking themselves. They're like, oh, it's a witch hunt. They're going after him wrongly. His 37 crimes actually aren't crimes. Maybe this is why they're doing that. 74%. If we can't have Trump, give me somebody just like Trump. Okay, we're just getting warmed up here. Here is something to give you a little bit of hope. National security risk. Is it a national security risk if Trump kept nuclear and military documents? 80% of the country said absolutely it is. Because 80% of the country is reasonable. Only 38% of likely Republican primary voters said Trump having those top secret, classified nuclear documents is a problem, is a risk. Only 38%. That's wild, man. That is wild. She got, what is it, 62%? They're like, yeah, even if he had them, even if they're nuclear, even if they're in the bathroom, even if they're in the ballroom, I don't care. Even if Mar-a-Lago is a hotbed of spies, which it is, don't care. Trump's my guy. I like him. Wow. 62%. How are you going to overcome that in a primary? How are you going to overcome that? I mean, they are... Look, they're all about the vibes, right? They are all about the vibes, and they are vibing out on Donald Trump. All right, but I saved the best one for last. Look at this, man. If convicted over classified documents, Trump should, only 20% say not be able to be president. 80% say Trump should still be able to be president. Let me repeat that. If convicted... So if found guilty, if potentially his ass is behind bars, 80%, he should still be able to be president. Crystal, my dear wife, we've had this debate many times. I'm here to tell you, looks like you're right. And it looks like I was wrong. Because one of the points I kept making was like, look, I get it. Trump's the favorite. There's no denying that. It's kind of obvious. I get it. When there's an indictment that goes against him, he goes up in the Republican primary. It happens. He also goes down in the general. That's also a fact. But in my mind, the one thing that could take him down is if his ass goes to prison. Because running from prison seems insane. He could legally do it, but it seems insane. And winning from prison, winning a Republican primary from prison is, I mean, that is like a earth-shattering event, right? And I said, if he goes to prison, Ron DeSantis is going to win the damn thing. He's going to win the damn thing. As of right now, oh, I was wrong. As of right now, they literally are saying in the numbers, they are strongly hinting, no, we're going to vote for him even if his ass is behind bars. And some people, I think it was CNN or MSNBC, interviewed some of these people outside of the courthouse who were protesting on the side of Trump. And they were saying, yeah, I'll vote for him if he's in prison. I don't care. Now, look, you can, if you want to get super pedantic, you could say, well, maybe these people are saying if he's convicted, but, the punishment is a fine, or the punishment is community service, or whatever. Like, then they would still vote for him, but if he was behind bars, it's a different scenario. But you know what? Even if that's how they view it, which I don't think it is, still, if you get like 50% of the vote, that's going to win in a crowded Republican primary. If you get 40% of the vote, that's going to win in a crowded Republican primary. And you have 80% saying if he's convicted, he should still be able to be president, which I read as tacit support, if not outright support of the dude, even if he is behind bars. I've never in my life seen a political figure with this much of a grasp on their base. It is like a spell. He cast a voodoo, magical ass spell on this Republican base. They're all about the vibes. He gives them the vibes, and they're not interested in anybody else, man. They're just not. DeSantis is languishing at 20%, which is respectable, but it's nowhere near enough. On the Democratic, I can't think of a single Democratic president that inspired this level of intense loyalty. Even Obama, who perpetually had high approval ratings, relatively speaking, compared to other modern U.S. presidents, still a question whether or not he would beat Mitt Romney, for example. And to be fair, look, Trump, I stand by the more this stuff goes on, the more it hurts him in the general. I mean, the chance of him beating any Democrat from behind bars, if indeed it gets to the point where he is behind bars, might take too long for that to get to the point. But I don't think that's possible. I think he keeps going down, down, down in the general. But in the primary, he does keep going up, up, up. This is unbelievable. No other politician in my lifetime inspired this kind of loyalty. One who we know did, and actually for good reasons because he was based, was FDR. He had 80% of the House. He had 80% of the Senate were Democrats. Because of him, he got elected president 4 times as before we had term limits. But the reason why he got this support is because he actually helped people. For Trump, it's all about vibes. And it's all about the right-wing base hates liberals. Hates them, hates them, hates them. And their whole politics is, I just hate liberals. And this guy is the target of liberals. I love him. And he fights back against them. I love him even more. So, wild numbers, man. Super wild. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.